Discover the inspiring journey of Donte Wilburn. He's been named Entrepreneur of the Year, Small Business Owner of the Year. He's an acclaimed author and motivational speaker. From a troubled past dodging the law that ended in a near-death experience, Donte found redemption and purpose through automotive detailing. Now, he's on a mission to transform lives through his business, realizing that every detail can redirect destiny.
Quiet on the set, pick 73.
All right, everybody, welcome back. Another episode of the Driving Relationships podcast. This is going to be a really, really special one.
We got a
today.
banger on deck.
Let's go.
As always, I'm Austin.
And I'm Zach, and today we are blessed. By all means, you know what? Take it away. Who are you, sir?
I am Donte Wilburn, and I'm super excited to be here with two of my great friends, I would say.
For sure. Well, we're blessed to have you. Obviously, we're going to get right into it today because we got a lot to cover. We're excited for this opportunity. Thanks for coming in and giving us some of your time. But we're going to get right into it. So,
yeah, I think, Donte, Entrepreneur of the Year, by the way.
Oh, that's crazy, right?
You're now an author. Where did this all start, man?
Oh, the $1 million question. They start out with the $1 million question, right? So basically, started basically from born and raised here in Lafayette, Indiana, right? My parents are originally from Gary, Indiana. Moved down here to help actually my uncle out do some things and to give us a better life. And they couldn't afford much when you're young. You know how that is, and you're young and you come down to a new city, and so we were raised in a trailer park, but then got really, really happy when we moved to a house, and I went to Harrison, I went to Purdue, and so I'm completely Lafayette, homegrown. Of course, Boilermakers are killing it right now, right?
You got to love it. We'll get into a little bit more about, a huge community event that you had at one of your other facilities. But talk to us a little bit, because this really is geared a lot towards automotive business. So have you ever sold a car?
Yes.
as a business.
As a business.
Just not as a flip of the whip.
Oh, okay.
I have sold a car, right? Like in my line of work and auto detailing, sometimes people come in and they want to get rid of them, right?
Yeah.
And I was just like, you know what? I'm going to try this, right?
Yeah.
So I've done probably 5 to 10, not a lot.
Okay. So that qualifies you to be on the podcast. That's
I'm
good.
on
So,
the
car
podcast.
salesman.
so you're a lot more comfortable washing and detailing cars. So I'm curious where that start. Like, did you start by yourself? Do you have a team? How did that come about?
Good question. So as I was explaining about being raised here, unfortunately, as I got into high school, I ended up getting in a lot of trouble, okay? Got in a lot of trouble, in so much that these group of men came to kill me one night. They shot my friend like 3 times.
Whoa. And
I was facing like 8 years in prison while I was going to Purdue University, right? So
Whoa.
just a crazy, insane turn of events in my life. So during that crazy time, and I was facing, prison time and all these different things, I just simply asked, where do I go to get a job? Where do I go? And it led me to Squeaky Clean, a local
Squeaky Clean.
auto detailing company.
Surprised you didn't steal that name.
No. So it's so
This is
crazy
a good name
because
for a cleaning company.
they used to make fun of that name so much. So it was like, oh, you're Squeaky Clean. So I actually went completely opposite of that name.
Yeah. So you walk in there and you're like, what? Hey, these guys are trying to kill me. They shot my friend. I need a job.
Yeah.
Is that how the conversation went? Or?
Basically, it's all in the book. Basically, like, no joke, it's all in the book here. But so basically what happened is I go in, my mom calls me and says, Donte, you got in all this trouble. You need a job now. And so I go in, and I don't think I'm going to get the job because I'm facing all of these criminal charges for selling drugs. That's what it was. I was selling drugs, and it all went awry and went bad. So I go in there, and I'm explaining to the guy that I know you probably won't hire me because of these things. And he laughed at me and said, I am going to hire you. Little did I know that this guy was a deacon at Second Baptist Church.
No way.
Right? And he takes me in, takes me under his wing. He starts to share with me Christ. I mean, I'm rough when I come in. I mean, pants sagging, do-rag, long chains. I mean, it's crazy. And he starts to share with me Christ. I started going to church. And my whole story, you got to think, like, when I got into auto detailing, it changed my life.
Yeah.
Literally changed my life. Like, it started out because I was detailing cars, and you got to have 2 cars done a day. Even to this day, you get 2 details done a day. And it's an autonomous work environment. I'm by myself, cleaning a car. No one's talking to me. And so what happened was I was first listening to music. Everyone listens to music. And then as Christ, and I started going to church and different things, I started listening to the Bible. And it started to change my whole philosophy. And so I went from the Bible to business books, and then, financial books. I would listen to different things. And I just simply started applying everything that I was hearing in my ears while detailing. Literally.
That's so crazy.
And that's how everything's come to be.
Wow.
I literally took books, listened to them, and anything they told me to do. If the Bible says, turn the other cheek, don't hit somebody, I didn't do it, right? Like, literally just obeyed all the philosophies of the books I was listening to. And then, lo and behold, I mean,
that's crazy. You got to think, too, like, you come in, I would assume, a lowest of lows. And the name of the business is Squeaky Clean.
Squeaky Clean.
And you literally change your life through that. Like, sometimes you think about it like, you hear like the Lord works in mysterious ways, and you go, you could have worked at any business. You could have worked at A1 Cleaners or best place in town to clean, whatever. And the name is Squeaky Clean, and you change your life at a place like that where Christ makes you clean.
Yeah. Oh, dude.
Yeah, and there's always those like hinge moments in our lives, and I think that's a huge hinge moment for you, right? Like, you've probably always had this entrepreneurial spirit. Just instead of channeling it to selling drugs, we're going to channel it to like automotive detailing, right? So
that is right.
That changed your life. First of all, who is the guy? Is he still in the business? Is he still alive? You still talk to him?
So it's just, life is just so crazy. His name was Richard Berry. He died after bringing me into the business. He left the business, and he passed away about a year later. And I stayed there and rose through the ranks and took over, ended up buying the business. And now, God is my witness, Richard Berry's son now works at our detail company.
No way.
Cool, man.
And it's so full circle, right? Right? Like, so when I come into the auto detailing industry, I hated it because it felt like a third-rate position. Like the economic status of an auto detailer was super low. And I remember leaving and going to Target and different places and looking around, wishing that I had a job where people were honored, right? So I remember complaining about how terrible this auto detailing occupation is. And I heard a small, still voice that if you don't like it, do something about it. And I remember like, do what? And I remember the Lord showing me in the middle of the night if I would give my whole heart to it, that he would bless me to be a blessing to others.
Wow.
And that's the crust of it, is where it all started. And so in everything I do in the auto detailing industry, it's called Premier Auto Detail. I don't even know. We talked about Squeaky Clean.
We're going to get all that. We're going to get them all there, yeah.
But it's called Premier Auto Detailing. And everything that I do in the company is geared towards creating opportunity for the employees to grow. Like that's the whole heart of it. Because I remember not feeling like I could grow. And when that voice said, do something about it, I said, okay. If you give me the strength to do it, I'll do it.
Yeah.
Right?
So Chase, after that's such a cool story. What year did you take over the business and then rename it to Premier Auto Detailing?
So I started detailing in 2004.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm 20 years deep in the game. which is kind of cool because I can see these young whippersnappers coming in.
Yeah.
And I can literally say that, dude,
Yeah.
you're a young whippersnapper, right? Like I'm 20 years deep. So detailed from 2004 to 2008.
Okay.
And then I was put as the manager and leader in 2008 to 2011.
Mm-hmm.
And in 2011 is when the opportunity presented itself to purchase. And from 2011 all the way to 2018, I didn't complete the purchase until 2018.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then how do you, now you're owner, you have obviously those years of operation. What's step one? Once you get the keys to the castle, it's all paid, done. Your name's on it. No one else is there. I'm sure there's the moment like they talk about paying your mortgage off, stepping in the grass. Grass feels greener. Had to be the same thing, right?
No, that's not how it goes at all. It's crazy because I remember I purchased the company from someone called Mike Ray's, a very prominent man. He's my father in business. He's passed away now, but he took time with me to teach me business acumen. He's seen where I came from, and he's seen where I was trying to go to, and he's the one that said, Donte, you definitely want to be somebody. I'll sell you the company. So I remember when the purchase was completely done, I remember looking at him and saying, do you think I can do this?
Wow.
And he laughed at me. He laughed at me and said, Donte, you've been doing it the whole time. And it was like it was that epiphany moment, like, oh yeah, I guess
crazy.
I have, but so the fear and dread when it's all yours, this place lives or dies by the decisions that you make. I was scared.
Yeah, rightfully so, right?
I was scared.
But you definitely didn't slow down when you got the keys to the
No.
castle, right?
No.
So location Lafayette. You have a second location in Kokomo.
Kokomo, yes, sir.
And then there's the mobile part of it. Walk
Yeah.
us through just kind of the nuts and bolts of your business and what you do.
So Premier Auto Detailing, we do auto detailing, we do ceramic coatings, and then we've had the pleasure to what we call bolt-on services. Over the years, I've continued to grow it, and you had Premier Auto Detailing here, and then you bolt on this piece, and basically bolting on is like finding problems with similar customers, right? Like, so I knew if you want your car auto detailed, you probably want it window tinted too, right? So got that one on there first. So now we do window tinting. We do cool things like vinyl wraps. We do like cat skin leathers, and then we kept growing, and now we do like heated seats, remote starts, install TVs in vehicles, and so we're kind of like a big one-stop shop. If you want your car to be clean and look cool and be protected, then you come to us.
And then I love the mobile wash stuff for the stores, right? So I always see the big trucks come by with the big boom arms, and they're spraying all the new car inventories.
Yeah.
I saw there was a guy on TikTok the other day, Russ Flips Whips. I don't know if you're familiar with him, but he has a huge following. He posted a video about how dusty the cars get on the front row. Right?
Oh, 100%.
And you would never
What to do
think
about it, yeah.
Yeah, you would never think a business opportunity here that you get what, $50, $75 car, whatever. I don't know what you charge, but it's like you literally go to the lots with a truck and spray the cars off.
Yeah. So that big truck that you're talking about, the boom, I was like, man, these guys are working so hard.
I was like, I
how
think
do I
you
make
invented
it
this, right?
easier
Yeah.
for them, right? And so I didn't actually invent it. There's a guy named, I think his name is Russ out of North Carolina. I actually drove down to North Carolina.
Oh, really?
Picked up this big invention and brought it back here, paid thousands of dollars for it. And so, but it's super cool. Like it swings out, it washes all the cars on the lot. But that was just going back to how do I make this better and easier for my guys to where they feel special, right? So
For sure.
So they feel super cool riding in this
I was
big
gonna say, it's a heck of a brand deal too when that thing's driving down the road.
Yeah.
I mean, it basically is like a crop sprayer.
It is.
Yeah, like one-way
It
crop
came
sprayer.
from farming.
That's what it looks
Yeah,
like
yeah.
for sure.
It's pretty cool.
On the back
yeah.
of a giant lifted truck, and
Yeah.
it's a heck of a sight to see. We should plug a photo in for everybody to see it for sure.
Yeah, I got a video.
We'll plug something in here so everybody can see, because people that are watching are going, "What the heck are they talking
Yeah.
about?"
Yeah, for sure.
So tell us a little bit about. I mean, as you start bolting on these other divisions, there's got to be that leap of faith. Even you kind of talked about with Mr. Razor saying, Donte, you can do this. But where do you see the auto detailing aftermarket industry going? I mean, it does seem like from our side, the manufacturer, a lot of these cars are coming more equipped with
Yes, sir.
these features that once were aftermarket. So
Yep.
what's today's kind of current state, and where do you see the future of it going?
Yeah, so I do know for a fact that if you get a base model vehicle and then you utilize our services, it actually is less expensive for the dealer, right? So that's been really, really cool to see base model vehicles come in. We install leather, bed liner, and different things, and for very inexpensive $1,500, you get this higher trim package vehicle for only adding $1,500 to $2,000 to the vehicle. So that's been really, really, really cool. So I don't think it's going to go anywhere. I know they do. Remote starts are really hard.
Yeah, right.
now.
Yeah, for sure.
But some of the other accessories that we're in is good. But overall, as inventory is starting to grow, it has been literally insane how many cars I have now been pre-packing with these accessories. Like, it has been insane. I'm talking hundreds and hundreds of vehicles, hitting them with the window tint, all of the things that the customer would want on it anyway when they come to buy the car. If we can eliminate that step, right, before they have to go out and do it anyway.
Yeah.
I'm seeing a lot of dealers are going that way, which is super cool for us because now I'm called. I just took a call like a week and a half ago. I got 300 cars. I want them all tinted. And so now you have all of the same models. You can have 50 of the same models, and you tell your guys like, hey, you're doing 50 of these same models, and they cut patterns for it all, and they just have a lot of fun with that. So that's kind of where I see it going. As inventory is increasing, I think the dealers are getting smarter and saying they're going to get it anyway. Why don't we load it and have it really nice and pretty for them, and they leave happy.
Yeah.
Right. So that's where it's
For
been,
sure. So
what I've been seeing.
if you're a listener, can you only get your services if you go through the dealership?
No.
Plug for you here, big dog. This one's for you.
So I stopped. I'm looking at Zach like, hold on.
This is a plug for Premier. This is
he's
for the
giving me
dealership.
love. I'm like, hold on. He's a dealer.
No, I'm hooking you up here.
You did put him in a tough spot.
I gave him a shot out here. Donte, can you sell these people something?
Right. But you see that I would pause because I want the best for Zach.
For sure.
Right?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I'm like,
You
I
want him
don't
to
want
get
to
a
tell
little piece?
people yes because I want them to go through him.
For sure.
And we can hook them up. So, yes, of course, we have standalone businesses to where retail can come directly to us, but it's going to be the same price for the customer on the retail side. Either if they go through the dealer or come through us, it's the same price. So I would plug the dealer and say it's best to go through the dealer.
See, we're driving relationships here. I asked that because more than anything, I wanted to get to this.
Okay.
I am always absolutely jaw-dropped when I get in my wife's vehicle and I see my wife's van and we spend whatever we spend on this thing, and inevitably there's markers marked on the back of seats. There's 1,200 French fries in them. There's juice boxes left in the back. There's, I don't even know what half the stuff of the goo on the floor is. And I drop it off to Premier, and at the end of the day, I get it back, and it's literally like nothing was ever in there. And you got to walk us through the worst cars. How do you get them to look like that? And in 6, 7, 8, sometimes 2 days, depending on how bad. Shout out the Rorman family and their vehicles. But how do you get a vehicle that goes from heavily used, wear, tear, awful to almost showroom ready? I mean, outside of any rips, tear, stains, or burns that are truly there forever, how do you do it?
So I'm gonna be honest. I hated chemistry coming up.
Yeah.
I was a physics type guy. All right, like I like applying nature and seeing how fast things go and all of that. So I always skip chemistry. So when you ask me how do you get it clean, I realize now if I could go back, I would have took chemistry.
Yeah, I hear you.
Because
Good
I
call.
know so much more now about a pH balance and the scale and how to get things clean from chocolate to milk to all of these different substances.
That's crazy.
Because of chemistry. So one's an alkaline, one's a base. On the periodic table, on the table, the chart there. So it's like, so my thing is you gotta know your stuff. So we spend a lot of time training, okay? We go through extensive training for all of our employees to do the job that they do. Because a brown stain, you cannot treat, you can't treat a Coke stain that looks brown the same as you treat a chocolate stain that looks brown on
Oh, wow.
on the same carpet.
I would never have even thought that.
I know.
I'd been like, same chemical, press harder.
Yeah, just keep rubbing, right? Just keep rubbing. Do
what I
it
would've
again.
done.
Do it again. No. So you have to apply the base first and then the alkaline. So how do we get it clean? It's through knowing exactly what chemicals work where.
Yeah.
That's where it's all at. All right. One of our core values is able and effective. And so what we say is that now that we've trained you, are you being able and effective? I hate when I will go out to a car and the stain's there and the guy says, I hit that 5 times. Okay, that's good. You hit it 5 times. Did you use this, and this? Oh, no. We hit it once and it comes out. So that's how we get them so clean is the training and knowing exactly what chemicals work where. Now, I just had my wife's car detailed.
Uh-oh.
And it was filthy. Sorry, Tisha. My wife is Tisha Wilburn. Sorry, I love you. But it was horrible. She has a link.
It's got to be rough being married to a detailer, though.
Man.
Because every time you get in a car, it's probably filthy, even if it's not.
But it was a Lincoln Navigator, and man, the guys did it, and it is so. When I got in, I told my wife, I said, "This is how our customers feel."
Yeah.
I said,
Yeah.
Think about how this feels. Like this feels. It's the feeling of when you put on brand new shoes.
Yeah.
You know that feeling, like
sure.
You're not taller, you're not.
Oh, you
skinnier,
feel it.
You know,
You feel it.
Yeah, you feel taller.
You can
feel
convince me I was. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but with that excitement, that feeling that you're talking about, that feeling that I feel, that has created our purpose statement. So our purpose statement is creating joy and happiness through professional auto detailing and automotive services. So we don't look at metal, right? Oh, we got to clean that metal. We look at the end person and try to wow them and create this super excitement. And you should see this, the faces and the smiles, when they pick up their vehicle. It's just a lot of fun. So that's our purpose.
Yeah.
Is to create that joy and happiness when you pick up your vehicle.
Well, it definitely does that. I mean, I'm in the dirty mom van club too,
All right,
That we have
all
to
right.
deal with it. So I'm just, the Chick-fil-A sauce. At one point, I thought I was a warehouse for Chick-fil-A. I don't know. I probably have sauces
Comes
that
in
are.
handy, though, when you need some.
That is
and
true.
you know that your wife has a Chick-fil-A sauce.
They've
for
been
you.
aged for a couple of years in the back of the van, and that sort of thing. They taste a little different after a couple of years.
Yeah.
No, it's great. So, man, there's just so much like passion and mission and purpose in everything that you do. So I want to talk about another business venture that you're in. How does a guy in auto detailing open up a sports complex?
Dude, remember
Makes sense, right?
Yeah. So remember, I was listening to books,
Yep.
and so I started with Rich Dad Poor Dad.
Good book.
No, terrific. And then I did like Scaling Up. I did all of these different books, but the one that got me was Guy Kawasaki. The 4 quadrants, the 4 quadrants. And he talks about you go from an employee to self-employed, to a business owner, to an investor. And you go through these quadrants. And I was like, okay, so the goal is to be an investor eventually. And I said, okay, I got it, guy. Right. I'm listening. I'm gonna do it. If I can do it, I'm gonna make it happen. Yeah. And then I read another book called The Richest Man in Babylon. Okay, and this taught me, and I even put it in my book, how to save money. I didn't know how to do it, and so he taught me. You take 70% of your income for living expenses, 10% to the Lord. 10% to debt pay down, and then 10% to an investing account. And he says that, the investing account only can be spent on asset creation, only for buying things that produce more money. Yeah. So I just literally listened to that, and I said, okay, dude, I'll do it. And so I created these different accounts, and I started splitting it all out. And then so what happens is, over time, that 10% continues to grow. And then when the perfect time comes, you utilize it, right? So my daughter's playing basketball in Legacy Courts, and one of the owners look up at me and says, hey, do you want to buy this place? I'm like, buy the place? What are you talking about? He was like, man, they're selling it. And so I said, I guess let's talk about it. So after I talked to him, I had my whole nest egg to the side, and I assembled a team to purchase it, and we did it. And so it's been a lot of fun because it dovetailed exactly with the business of Premier, right? So
how so? That doesn't really make sense.
I know, auto detailing. How does it dovetail? Yeah. So you got to think, when I bring in employees into Premier, they're usually young. Just like I was. Right. They're usually 18 to 22 when they're entering in the auto detailing sector. And so what I noticed was these kids, a lot of them didn't have a lot of discipline, right? Yeah, true. Like you yell at them and say, hey, you got to do this right. And you do it in love. You don't do it like, oh, you're a no good, such and such. You say, hey, this is serious. The customer's paying a lot of money for this. Come on. We got to get with the program. Yeah. And they would kind of like fall apart. Like, hold on, no. I'm not getting on you to destroy you. I am telling you this to build you up, right? And so I said to myself, man, if these 18 or 20 years olds, if they were stronger, how could I help that? So at Legacy, we get these kids that are from kindergarten, and they're going through sports. And the sports regiment, if you obey your coach, listen to what he says, learn how to play as a team, learn that it's not about you, learn how to get better, learn how to lose, learn how to win, become a winner, all of that translates into life. And so I looked at this business Legacy. I'm like, man, if I can impact this community the right way with these kids and show them love and teach them, life lessons when they're young, in these camps and different things, they're going to grow up to be great employees. And so that's kind of how. Am I going too far?
Dude, that's phenomenal.
I'm like, hold on. You guys are like totally in my brain right now. I'm like, am I crazy?
No, it's convicting with you too.
You're blowing us away, man. And I think that's part of the driving relationships, why we named it that. Because, what we've realized over the years in business, like the car business is the people business, and Zach and I are not that old, but like we are at the point where we're seeing these kids, right, that are 17, 18 years old. They're starting to change oil for us, in the Quick Lube Bay, or they're, we have our own on-site detail team or inventory management team. And man, just the opportunity to work with them and kind of be a fatherly voice in their life and mentor them. Like, yes, sir. That's where our passion is. So, I think it's really cool to hear the connection between detailing and the sports complex and just, your overall passion for people and, pouring into others and what, Mr. Barry had poured into you, right? And saving you and showing you a path in life. So
yeah, for sure.
I was going to say, let's get to the book real quick because I am real curious about, you're obviously a reader. So there's that, what is that saying? Like leaders or readers?
Yeah.
Something like that.
I feel like it's changed now to readers or listeners because I'm a podcast or a audiobook kind of guy.
I guess, yeah. I say reading loosely because, you have
was gonna say, I
the
couldn't tell you last
Walkman
time
in
I
or
read a
whatever it
book.
was, at the time. So Born Hungry. What was the reason for writing this book? And then since its release, what has surprised you about it?
So the reason why the book came about is because of my wild, crazy story, right? And I didn't give all the details. I couldn't give all the details in here.
Sure. You have to purchase the book and find
Yes.
it.
I was going to say, you can find the book on Amazon.com.
Yeah, so wild, crazy story. And what happened is when we purchased Legacy and I had Premiere going, I was called out of the blue and someone said, hey, they left me a message. They said, hey, Donte, you won Entrepreneur of the Year. And I never returned the call, right? Never returned the call. Then I get an email saying, you won Entrepreneur of the Year. And I thought, okay, yeah, Entrepreneur of the Year. I'd have to pay something to become that Entrepreneur of the Year.
Sure.
I
It's
just
a
thought
scam.
it was, yeah,
It's got to be a scam, right?
So I never responded, okay? They were blowing me up like crazy, and I'm ignoring all of the calls. And then I finally answered. I'm like, what's up? I know this is terrible. It's just our state of society, right? I'm like, what's up? And they said, Donte, we are driving down from Indianapolis to come meet you because you won Entrepreneur of the Year. Are you going to be around? I'm like, wait, is this really real? I said, is this really real? And they were like, yes. Like the mayor and the governor, they want to meet you. I'm like, no way. Really? And so they sure enough came down and they were like, hey, we heard all about your story. We know all about you and what you've overcome. We're crowning you as Entrepreneur of the Year. So I won Entrepreneur of the Year. So that was a lot of fun. And then the next year, I won Small Business Person of the Year, which was a lot of fun. And so to win Small Business Person of the Year, after you're nominated, you have to submit your whole resume to them. You have to tell them all about yourself. And so once I was done with that whole, 5-page document, I mean, it was crazy. Monty Henderson, one of the guys at the IDEC, one of the government agencies for business around here, he said, Donte, you did all the hard work to put all of that together. You should turn that into a book. I was like,
wow.
That was a lot of work to put everything together. Man. And then so I remember laying in bed and was like, how many lives can this touch if I did this? Like you're trying to touch lives all around you, but this can go anywhere and touch a life. And then I got more intrigued. And so then that's how it was birthed, man. How many lives can I touch?
It's a cool story.
By putting it in a book.
So since the release, I mean, I think it's easy to talk about sales. Like, how many books did you expect to sell? How many have you sold? I mean, was it more of maybe I'll get a few of these printed and give them away to people? Or?
Yeah, it was. I was thinking more just give away, but we sold over 1,000 books.
Wow.
And the book to me has not been so much about sales. What has been really, really fun doing is actually giving them to the age demographics that I want to get this.
Yeah.
It's 17 to 25-year-olds. You got to realize when I wrote this book, it's about me being lost and then finding my way. And so Born Hungry literally is about we're all born hungry. You're first naturally born hungry and your mother feeds you, right? But you also have a spiritual hunger also that some people never fulfill. And they don't know how to fulfill it. And so when you're born hungry naturally and you're born hungry spiritually, how do you fulfill that hunger? I show everyone how I fulfilled my hunger in this book. And so it's been a lot of fun. It's broken down into 3 sections. It's 3 R's. What are they? How many R's?
How many R's?
3 R's.
3 R's, right?
3 R's.
So I'm a minister also, right? So I gotta have them taught back. It's broken down in 3 hours. How many?
3.
I've heard there's 3.
So the 3 R's. First, and the book is all about change. So this was written literally for the parents, the grandparents that say, man, this kid needs to find his way.
Yeah.
Or the kid's a good kid and you want them to start on the right way. This book is for them, right? So the 3 R's is first, you realize where you are. Okay, it's the first 3 chapters, and it's all about realizing. Then you redirect. You figure out which direction you want to point and what your in life needs to look like, right? So the next 3 chapters are about redirecting your life and how to do it. Like literally, how did I do it? I explain it in the whole book from those 3 chapters. And then the last 3 chapters are so important because it's how do you remain on that path until you get to your destination. So it's realize, redirect, and remain, right? And
I mean, that sums up your life perfectly. It's crazy.
You should write a book about it.
I know you should. No, really, it's cool to know that backstory a little bit more, and then just how you broke the book down into the sections of your life, and just how it's impacted so many people too. So
sure.
So what's next?
Oh man,
Where are you gonna pop into left field and start a food truck or something? I don't even know what's next.
Oh man,
where do you go from here?
I'm trying not to start anything new. all right. But honestly, let's get. So, Premier is a big vision. I'm just going to be honest with the public. The vision is 50 stores.
Oh,
It's a 50-store vision, and in each store, we're going to do the auto detailing, the ceramic coating, and the accessory services. And so as we're growing that, we have 2 official locations, but actually the number of stores that we have, some are in dealerships, we have 4. So we have 4. 2 are actually 3 are in dealerships, and one's a standalone. So that's the model, whether it be a standalone or whether it be inside of a dealership, the business is going to expand to 50. And as that grows into 50, the reason for it is because I want to create, you guys are ready for it, vertical mobility. That's the whole goal of Premier, was to create vertical mobility and not this flat organizational structure, but to where guys can be can continue to ascend up.
so they can work their way up. Because I think you said in the past that detailer position, and what caught you was it was a very looked down upon position.
Exactly.
It's funny that we go from that to like talking a chemistry lesson to like
Basketball,
That's crazy
to
to me,
author
right?
of a book.
Yeah.
But I love it. Yeah. So you're, again, everything you do is around the mission of creating opportunity for people, creating hope, creating that like desire to be better. Give me an employee story. I'm sure you have one of somebody that started working for you and now has worked up in the company.
Yeah. Well, first, let me tell you about Mason. I just seen him, I don't know, maybe 2 months ago. And he was fresh out of some things that he did wrong, different incarcerations and different things. And he comes into the business. He works extremely hard. I give him all these life lessons that I learned because I'm like, dude, I was just like you, right? And you got to keep in mind, like I keep my my newspaper clippings.
Yeah, I was gonna ask. Yeah,
at the shop, because now when people look at me, they be like, "No, you didn't go through nothing." That's the feel.
Wait, newspaper clippings of what?
From when I got in trouble. Oh, the whole entire shootout, everything. I keep a newspaper clipping and I show the new employees how low I was before I started detailing. And so, and every time they look down at it, they look at me and go, and their eyes get really big, like,
yeah, well, you're not lying.
Yeah. So, but I showed Mason this, and I gave him all my philosophies of life. And I remember he said, "Hey, Donte, I'm gonna take this other position. because of the things that you have taught me. And now, seeing him so many years later, this dude sees me in the store. He gives me this big old hug, and he was like, dude, you don't realize when I freshly was out and I worked for you and everything that you put in me, I am where I am today. He's married. He's going to church.
It's amazing.
Has kids. I mean, he was just a little young pup when he came out. And so that's been phenomenal. Another one is in Kokomo. I'm not gonna say the name because I feel like she'd be like, "Why you put me on blast?"
No, you're all good.
But you know, when we first got her, you know, she was making $9-10 an hour. Was on the verge of being fired when we took over that dealership and their cleanup department, and now she is a rock star leader. Been through trainings. I mean, she bought her house now. She was living in a trailer park. So all of these things are so near and dear to me. Right? Like, and she is just killing it. I mean, just so proud of everything that she's doing.
So you got to touch base on that, right? So like that's one of the things I want to pick your brain on is I feel like so many times in my career here that I want to share and I want to pull somebody under my wing and say, hey, like I had this opportunity and so did this with me. And you do that at times and it's like the plane just flew right over their head and they're right back to it. So like how have you seen success in pulling people underneath your wing and guiding them through this, whether it's sales, whether it's entrepreneur, whether it's just hard work? Because I feel like today's generation, as we kind of alluded to a couple times, isn't looking always for that opportunity. It's kind of like I deserved it and I'm going to get it when I get it.
Yeah. No, you're 100% right. So let me just tell you, I've made thousands of mistakes.
Yeah. Nobody sees them, right?
Yeah.
Donte's just so successful.
Man, a lot of mistakes. Like you got to think from my past and where we are today. I had a broken bird syndrome. Every broken wing bird I wanted to take under my wing, teach them, and I had to learn that it's not for everybody. It's not for everybody, and God had to give me wisdom on who to pull under my wing and who not to, because I was making a huge mess in the beginning days. So now I really look if they want it first, right? Because sometimes I'll see something in someone, and I know that they have greatness in them, and I'm trying to pull it out of them, and they don't even want it for themselves.
Yeah.
Right? So I had to really slow down, back up, and now I wait to see if they have the drive, okay? And then, and you guys know this one, it's in it was in traction. They have to get it, want it, and have the capacity to do it.
100%.
That's right.
GWC.
Yeah, the GWC. So that's helped me a lot because I had people that wanted it, but they didn't have the get it or the capacity.
For sure.
So I was pulling them. You want it? Come on.
Yeah.
And it just was not good. So now I sit back and I look for that extreme motivation and passion, and then I will blow on that fire to create into a flame. You know,
I like that, yeah, because one of the hardest things to coach is desire. You know, I feel like there's so many times that I want it so much for someone else, and it's just until they wake up. It was kind of like my son when he was learning to ride a pedal bike. He was so scared of it. And finally this year, he goes, Dad, I want to go on a bike ride. I said, you're going to ride your pedal bike? And he looked at me and he goes, yeah. Hopped on that thing. Dude, I was strapping flashlights to it. We were out there for 2 hours. It's like 10:30 at night. We're just pedaling around, right? So I share that story just to say, yeah, I think, and to go back to one of your R's, realize, right? They have to realize where they're at and if they want it. Because as leaders, as dads, as coaches, it's really hard to put that desire into people.
For sure. They have to realize it first. And then, you can redirect them and then teach them how to remain on it, but they have to look in the mirror. So realize it's all about looking in the mirror, looking in the mirror. And Zach, I wanted to tell you, like, in those beginning days when I was sucking any broken wing bird in, I remember a wise man told me, don't hire this guy. He's terrible. And I was like, they used to say I was terrible. I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you. And this rambunctiousness in me, right?
Yeah.
I'm going to show that this guy, I'm going to make him a success, right? And epic failure.
I've tried those a couple times
Epic
too.
failure.
Yeah.
Jim Rohn, I'll never forget, he says, I said to myself that I'm going to make this guy a success. I'm going to make this guy a success even if it kills me. And he says, I almost died. I'll never forget that. But this guy that I was told not to hire, and it was an epic failure, I go back to my leader that was much older than me, and I said, you know what, you were right. It was terrible. I said, now my whole organization, even though he's not there anymore, it's still affected.
Yeah.
This is what he says to me. Gosh. He says, when you bring a skunk into your house and then you put him out, even though the skunk is out, the smell is there. He said, but it will pass. I'm just sitting there looking at him. I'm like, it does stink in my organization right now.
Yeah.
But I love how he ended it. It will pass. So I knew, I just had to wait it out, and it passed, just like he said. So I guess that's another thing that I want to hit on for the younger generation, because that's who I like to really talk to, 17 to 25-year-olds. You got to listen to people older than you.
Yeah.
You got to. Like if you listen to a 70-year-old person and get advice, and let's say you're 30 years old, okay? There's a 40-year gap there. But if you listen to their wisdom, you can operate at maybe a 50-year-old mindset, right? You're not going to get all the way to 70 because you didn't live the experiences, right?
Right.
Yeah.
But if you listen to their wisdom and do what they tell you to do, even though you're 30 and he's 70, you'll be operating somewhere up here around 50 years old, which is what? Way ahead of your time. And so that's always what I've done. I've always tried to surround myself with the wiser than me,
Yeah, and I think it's truly wise. I mean, that's the word that instantly comes to mind. Like, we talk a ton about, people and processes. And I would imagine that you'd probably relate to this, that the detailing business is the process. And it just, literally, if you follow these steps, will get you almost to the finish line.
Yep.
You still got to put the hard work in and everything. But it's amazing now that you get to that leadership opportunity and you realize the process is completely useless without the right people. And that every time that we've gone, hey, we got great processes, we have everything in place, it's written out, it's understood, it's communicated, and then you look around and go, hey, we forgot to hire people to do the processes. So, yeah, I mean, I just keep thinking back to even all the stories that you've shared and the people. My question is, where do you get them?
So we breed them.
I like that.
We breed
Maybe
them.
illegal, but explain.
We breed them.
Come to Premier Auto Detailing. We'll
Come to
hook you up.
Premier. We're like church. Come as you are.
Yeah.
Come as you are. As raw as can be.
Love it.
As raw as can be. You come through the doors and we'll love on you. We'll teach you. We'll be patient. We'll hold you accountable. Like all of these things are going to happen. And if you're a good fit, you're a good fit. If you're not, you're not. But yeah, so that's what we do. We breed them, man. Just come as you are.
And then you talked about vertical development. How do you sell that idea? Because, I mean, you're talking about a demographic that probably is coming in there going, I'm looking for a JOB. I'm not looking for a career. This is just a layover.
Yeah. So big shout out, and I will use this name, to Jonah Woosley. All right, so Jonah.
Good guy.
Jonah. Oh, yeah.
We love Jonah.
So Jonah comes to me as young, 17, 18 years old.
Yeah.
And he's like, hey, I'm just going to have this job until I go to college. Well, when he got in and he kind of heard some philosophies that I'm believing in, he tells, his parents, everybody, hey, I'm not going to college. This is what I want to do.
Wow.
And that kind of rivets everybody. Like, are you sure? right? And he has successfully climbed the ladder in a little 3 years, successfully. And he's over both locations for auto detailing in Kokomo and Lafayette. And so just watching him develop is amazing. So that's what it is, Zach. I mean, he came in just thinking this is a job, right? And that's just where I'm gonna start. But then once the breeding starts to happen, you know, and I joke and say breeding, but it's just a transfer of DNA.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm just transferring the DNA that God's put in me for this, and I'm transferring it over. And then they believe in it too, and they go after. So he's been phenomenal. So he's climbed the ladder. Brett Huddleston's another one that came in, and he was like, hey, you know, want to get something going, and now he has ascended. I mean, it's just amazing on the accessory side, the things that they're doing. I mean, just insane. And he's over the Kokomo and Lafayette store, and we're looking to get one going in Indianapolis here soon. So.
Be a big market to break into.
Yeah.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I think as we kind of wrap up, I want a good story of like, what's the worst car? Yeah, give me some stories. Like, what have you found in a car that would surprise people?
And shout out their name. No, I'm just kidding. Not shout out their name.
Yeah.
And who was the owner of the vehicle?
So
no dead bodies.
Man.
Well-
No dead bodies, but okay, I'll give you three. I'll give you three
yes,
He's
quick.
got three right away. I like them.
All right, so one day, guy comes in with a minivan, and he pops the back hatch, and there's blood everywhere. Blood everywhere. So
And you didn't decline the service or nothing? You
no,
didn't?
so this is my
Upcharge.
beginning days. so this is my beginning days, right? Right. This is those days where the keys were handed over to me, and I'm scared. I just got to make it happen, right? So every customer that comes in, I'm like, hey,
That looks like enough blood for 3 bodies. We should be able to get that out of here. How long you need? About an hour before the police get here?
yeah. So we asked the guy. He was like, oh, I just went hunting, and so we cleaned it all up, and we were like,
world does
you
that?
know, like, man, you know, the blood was just different. So I asked him, I was like, what is this? What did you hunt? And he said he was hunting wild boar. But after we cleaned it, I mean, this was horrendous. After we cleaned it, it dawned on us. What if it wasn't? Right? Like legit. Like I was like, dang, man. And I was looking at my manager at the time, like, we did a phenomenal job on this.
I
It's
love
all
that the
gone.
detail guy saw the advantage of like, this is a resume builder. And then afterwards went, man, he may have killed someone.
Right. Like what if it wasn't? And then we just left it alone. But so we did clean an extremely bloody back of a van. I mean, it was crazy. Pray that it was the true wild,
I mean, there's
We'll know,
wild
hey, we'll know when you
Hang
get
on.
to heaven. Dante, your life's work's been good. We do need to talk about this one thing.
How far do we have to travel from central Indiana to get to a place where you can hunt wild boar, though?
Yeah, how far is
I mean,
that?
quite a. They're like in
don't make me
Texas.
feel
Dante,
bad.
they're
Put
in
in the
Texas.
comments. Comment below. Where do you find wild boar so Dante knows what
my
he
Dante,
did.
I think this is like a 16-hour drive to get down there. Anyway, all right.
You're going to have a
That was
cold
good
case
one.
file. Reach out in the comments. Dante, we'll need your email.
I'm not gonna be able to sleep. Thanks for that.
Sorry, my bad.
So that's one. That was a
Wow.
crazy one. The next two, and I'm just gonna be straight up honest. I did them both because they were so bad. One of them, a woman came to me in tears, literally in tears, crying, and she says that I need help. I need help, and I'm like, what is it? What is it? I mean, I'm thinking like she's running from somebody. She's like, my car is infested with fleas. And I was like, what?
no.
And she was like, they've been all over me everywhere I go. And she's slapping herself. And I'm like, and so I'm
That
like,
gives me the heebie-jeebies.
I was like, man. And so God's honest truth on this, guys, I couldn't tell my wife. And so this is one, I see this lady crying, right? How do I turn her away? But I don't feel comfortable giving it to an employee because I don't want to put them in jeopardy, right? So I said, cool, I'll do it. I suited up in a suit, an
Yeah.
all white suit, put the whole hazmat deal
hazmat
on.
suit? I love it.
I had a exterminator, Texas. He came through, and he killed them all for one day, and then next day, and they're dead everywhere. And I detailed that thing out.
For a week after, there was nothing wrong. You just couldn't stop slapping and itching.
I told my wife, because one thing I will say in my marriage, I've been married 17 years. We don't keep anything from each other.
Kudos, 17 years.
I don't want to keep nothing from her, so I told her like week to 2 weeks after.
Yeah.
If I told her
After you were done itching?
You always tell her everything, but it has to be at the right time. That's what I always say.
right time. So
Yeah, you would have been allowed in the house for that one.
Exactly. She would not have let me come in, and she would have been mad at me. But now it's 2 weeks past, nothing's
it's
happened.
good.
She's like,
we're clean.
you know, she was still a little upset, but
Yeah,
nothing
man, I
happened.
wouldn't even think about fleas. Ugh.
Yeah. And then the last one was roaches, man. Minivan full of roaches.
I get it. There's plenty of food to eat.
Yeah.
Chick-fil-A sauce.
Had to take everything
Thanks
out.
for not
and-
charging me extra on that.
But had to take everything out, disassemble it all, because you don't know where they're hiding. So we literally took all the carpet out, all the door panels off, took all the seats out, cleaned everything, and then buckled everything back together. And the heart of all of these, though, was a person on the end. The only
For
one.
sure.
I mean,
Yeah, if it was business, you would say no.
yeah, I would say no. It wasn't smart. But
Unless it was the blood. That was a yes. That was a good upcharge.
that's the only one. When I think of the person on the end, I say, man.
Persons. Oh, too funny, man. We knew you would have good stories with that. So, Donte, when we wrap up, we always play a game with guests. So this is a fun one. It catches everybody off guard. I know you're huge into basketball. You got a stud basketball player and daughter, right?
Yep, for sure.
Recovering from ACL, so
yes,
hopefully that all goes well. But we want to play a game. So this is going to be about your business, career, life, whatever you choose. So there's 3 different things here. So we're going to talk about taking a charge.
Okay.
So something in business, something in life where you go, man, I stepped up and I don't know if it was worth it, because taking a charge sometimes not worth it, but obviously you look back, it could change a game. We're going to talk about an and one, where you go, man, that was a good play and definitely got recognized for it. And then the big game winner. So you can think about it and break them down any way you want to go in this. So we'll start out with the one that we always want, the and one. What's something in your career that you go, man, that was a good one, definitely was more than what I expected, and it hit, it was a winner?
Oh, man, it would have to be the and one would have to be the bolt-on services, the whole accessory line. And the reason why I say that is because here's what happened. So when you got a business running well, they say, well, not everyone says it, but people that could be around you that might not know everything, they'll say, don't mess with it.
Yeah.
Don't mess with it. It's good. Leave it alone.
If it ain't broke,
don't fix
Yeah,
it. Right? Like so it was running really, really well. And so I told some people like, hey, I'm thinking about doing this, this, and this. And they said, man, once you diversify, you might get too spread thin and it might not go well for you.
Yeah.
I never forget. And I'm sitting like, do I do it? Do I not? Do I do it? And I said, forget it. I know they're saying don't do it, but I'm going to try it anyway.
Yeah.
And one.
I like it.
That's great.
That's a
Bucket.
great one. That's a great answer for sure.
Yeah, so but I had to really discern that one, and I had to go against what I was being told.
It's kind of like when you're telling that story, it's kind of like when you decide you're going for the layup, and now you see the players put the ball in like a running back. They're going to the rim.
Yeah.
and you're cradling it because you know you're going in and getting fouled on that. So
Yep,
for
yeah.
sure. What's one that's been a charge? One that you go, man, I don't know if next time I would step up and take that charge again. I'm definitely glad I did. It may have won the game, but man, that was a lot of black eyes and bruises.
Gosh,
and-
I'm almost afraid to say this one, but okay, in my early days, no, I would take the charge again. So I had a guy that was a stud manager, stud leader, stud detailer. And I told the guy, I had a young receptionist. I told him, and she liked him. They liked each other. And I said, dude, if you cross that line, it's over for you.
Yeah.
Right? And he crossed the line, and I asked him, and this is in my beginning days. These are my beginning days.
Yeah.
And I asked him, and after I did, the next 6 months was horrible because I mean, he was so good at everything he did. But I had to stand up for what I felt was right, right? I had to stand up for it. So I took that charge, and it was a mean one. It's like a big dude coming towards you. Do you take this or do you not?
Yeah, for sure.
And I took it and laid on the ground for a little bit from it.
Yeah, right. Those are the ones where you lay down and you open your eyes and you're like, all right, I'm still alive. I can still feel everything.
Yeah.
We're gonna be good. Cool, man. That's a good one. Yeah, I can tell you, there's been a couple of times in business where you go home when you have to take that charge, and you go, "Man, I know I did the wrong thing. I should have done it this way. I should have done that way." And when you come out the other side, it's kind of like that conversation when you're talking about the skunk, right? The smell will pass.
For sure.
Once you finally get out of that smell, you go, "Okay, I made the right decision." But it like lingers, man. Just like the skunk, where it's like even taking the charge, the pain from taking a charge sometimes can linger and go, "Man, maybe I should have figured a way to make this all work."
Yep, for sure.
Again, it's those principles, kind of like your book, of just making sure that you realize what you're there to do. So, and the best one, the game winner. What's the one where you're posing like Jordan, just the elbow free throw line, Utah Jazz photo, and you just time expires, you know you're making it, game over?
Man, a game winner. I would have to say the game winner was me getting the Toyota dealership contract. That's when I was just like, hey, baller, hey, I'm out here, y'all. I'm out here.
Listen, man, you could have shot out marrying your wife. You could have shot out.
I talked to this really, really mean guy. He was the leader of Toyota, and he was really rough on me, but when we closed that deal, it was like buckets. So. Zach, I think it was you.
They celebrated after that one.
That's a good one.
Get this guy out of the podcast. It's over.
We've had enough.
Too funny, man. Well, hey, on a serious note, we love you. We appreciate you. Where can people find you? I know there's a big breaking 24, 48 hours or something you just released. Where can people find you, man?
So if you go to our website, premierindiana.com, we just launched our new website, literally yesterday.
Perfect.
So you know how your business continues to grow. I always teach people it's like infant stages, then adolescence, and then preteen and teen, and you keep going. And so we've definitely crossed over a new threshold.
Yeah.
Right?
That's cool.
And so the new website is out, all our new services on it. So that's been a lot of fun. So you can find us on there. DonteWilburn.com is everything about the book, speaking gigs, all of that stuff. I love inspiring the youth, right?
For sure.
Bringing hope. So that's a lot of fun. And then the last one is www.legacy-courts.com. So
you guys have camps from basketball, soccer, football, whatever you want.
Golf camp I see coming up.
Ooh.
Yeah, here's what I'll say. Shout out to Legacy. I know this has nothing to do with Legacy Sports, but to get your kid in an environment where, for me personally, I got 3 of them, to get them in an environment where they're not only going to be taught the sport the right way, but they're also going to be loved on. And at the end of it, it's not just about winning and losing. You guys definitely will teach that through camps and different things, right?
Yeah.
I'm a believer. You got to win, you got to lose, because life's going to win and life's going to lose. And if you can't get over that, it's not always a ribbon. So, but the fact that they're going to be there and they're also going to have the great human beings to mentor, guide, teach, and grow. And I think that's the Legacy name. I know it kind of came with everything, but I think that's the part where, again, if you got young ones looking for something, hit up one of these camps that are coming out, because they're definitely huge.
Yep.
So
You mentioned the podcast, get a full detail, and you might get a signed copy of the book.
Yes. Mention the podcast, get a full detail that they will be paying
Let's
for.
go.
Wait a second.
Yeah, that they will be paying for.
We should have cut. Well, Donte, thank you so much, man. This is awesome. I think your story's inspiring, and man, whatever we can do to support you,
Always.
keep changing lives out there too.
For sure.
Appreciate
I
it, man.
appreciate you guys.
Thanks.
Have a good one, guys.
Give me some love.
Let's go.
The views and statements expressed on this podcast, as well as any other use of its content, exclusively represent the opinions and views of the Driving Relationships podcast and shall not be attributed to or construed as views or statements of any other affiliated entity.